Welcome to the CEO Shift with your host, Shawndel Spader, owner and CEO of Spader Group. In this series, you'll hear fast, focused conversations with business leaders and experts who've made the real shift it takes to scale past the plateau. Each episode delivers high-impact insights designed to help you cut through the noise, make smarter decisions, and lead with clarity.
Hello and welcome to the CEO Shift. I am excited to be here today with Debbie Stewart and bringing in all of your expertise and knowledge and getting to hear from you and learn from you. I am just thrilled. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Of course. I would love if you could share with our audience today a bit about yourself, an introduction, your company, and just share with everybody who you are, please.
Absolutely. So I am a fractional CFO, meaning for those who aren't familiar with the term, I work part-time with multiple companies. So no one company has to bear my salary, and in many cases they don't need me full-time. I had a 25-year corporate career working for anywhere from the Fortune 500s to I would say local companies in the mid-market. Pearson's Candy is the last corporate role I had. So I've seen a lot of different size businesses and seen a lot of what works and what doesn't. And that's what I hope to bring to my clients.
Awesome. I love it. And I love working alongside folks who are in that fractional CFO space. You know, the information, the things that you're able to do with the information that a team like ours is able to provide is, I mean, well, I'm a complete geek. I love my spreadsheets. I love my numbers. I love my data, right? So I think it's absolutely amazing and fantastic. But what's even more fun is watching a business owner, a CEO who really doesn't like this side of the business, right? They like to go out and
Mhm.
do their thing, sell their products, sell their services, show up in their zone of genius. And when we get to just take this information and really make it useful and make decisions based on it, and you take it to that whole next level, even.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I find so many of the business owners I work with, they're not comfortable with their financials. They don't understand their financials, and
Right.
they don't feel like they can speak about their financials. And like you said, coming in and giving them those tools and making financials understandable and actionable for them, it's so much fun to see the confidence that they
I
gain.
say, dare we say the word fun?
It is fun.
I think so too. Um, it it is. I always know that like we've kind of like checked or accomplished a checkbox, right? A check mark when I can hear a client, a business owner be like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, we've got
Hmm.
another believer."
Yes, I had one say to
So,
me, I know you think this isn't rocket science, but to me, this is rocket science. I'm like,
yeah,
it's not, but I'm glad you feel that
right, exactly. Well, okay, so as we're talking about zone of genius or expertise, what would you like to focus on for our conversation today to share with the audience?
Yeah, I would say that my zone of expertise is very complementary to yours. Like you said,
Hmm.
I'm taking the financials that the team is pulling together, and I am looking at them, helping them provide actionable insights, and breaking down some of those tough concepts so that they are understandable to the layperson who doesn't have necessarily the desire and doesn't
Right.
find things financial as fun as we do. So
Yeah,
just making it so that they feel at least comfortable with what they're working with.
right. And well, and I think you hit a really good point there, right? Like it's that desire. Do they desire to know the information? Most people do. They just
Mhm.
have no idea where to start. Even if they did start on their own, they don't trust the data because they're not sure if it's right or not. And
Mhm.
that alone, like that unknown space, it, it's complicated. Like it makes it more complicated than it needs to be. It makes all of it unnerving. I'm making decisions. Can I buy this piece of equipment? Can I invest in this sort of training, coaching, whatever it might be for myself, my
Yeah.
team? You know, can I do these things? Eh, I mean, when we don't have these financials in order, what happens? Like we look at our bank account and say, oh, I've got X number of dollars in there. This costs Y number of dollars. Sure, like it's still positive at the end, but it's just not, it's so short-sighted. Um, so then being able to plan for these things, like that's all part of what this all looks like, which is cool.
That's exactly it. And I think part of that, which is making sure that you have the right team. And it's so, I see it so many times in small businesses where, when they got started, they hired who they knew, that,
Yeah,
their sister-in-law,
I'm
their
guilty.
neighbor. Everybody does it.
Yep.
But it's about, as you grow, then are you still getting the right resources? Do you
Hmm.
have someone, if it's not you and you don't have the desire to understand your financials, do you have someone on your team who actually understands, who isn't just the doer anymore? And helping business owners to progress with that, to understand that yes, this person has been great for you, and it's wonderful that they're loyal and they wanted to help you out, but maybe as the company grows, that that growing role isn't the right one for them. So how do you
Right.
support them in finding them the right role within your company, and then making sure you are bringing in the right person to help continue to elevate the company?
Right. And that's really important, right? I think too often if we don't feel, maybe even if we do feel that things are, it's not always obvious, right? Like so and
Hmm.
so's been with me for 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, whatever it might be. How often do we go back and analyze like what's happening in that role? How have they shifted? How have they grown? Where can they go? Especially when we're talking, small, medium-sized businesses that did start with just all of our friends.
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's a great
it's
place to start.
yeah, I love the idea of, again, it's not just about the numbers or, what's happening on paper, but it really is like, let's also analyze, what's happening in the company overall. It's kind of like,
Hmm.
like my kids' school references how they teach and grow the whole person, not just simply in academics, right? But like the whole person. Use your manners, be a decent human being, all of
Hmm.
those things. This is kind of like growing the whole business, right? Keeping an eye on and having a pulse check for the entire part, each part of the business.
That's exactly it. And you may have someone, a friend that you bring in, and they're very capable. It might just
Hmm.
be that they need training. But if you're not checking in with them and not evaluating, you're
Yeah.
underserving them as well as the business, where they, with a couple training courses or putting them in a peer group, it's going to get them all kinds of information that they can continue to grow. So it's, a lot of people I think feel, oh, well, this person's been my friend and they've been with me. They may still be great at the job, but you just need to get them some resources.
Right, right. And as you reach new levels, the company, ourselves as ownership, our team and each of their roles, as people reach those next levels, like you need another layer of
Hmm.
support. You need a different
Hmm.
layer of support. A coach that I'd worked with years ago had always referenced, if you're on the ladder with somebody, somebody might be on rung 4 and you're on rung 5, you can support the one on 4 because you're at 5. So you've already built, kind of bridge some of this gap, but you're more effective at, that step ahead or a couple of steps ahead than you are at that
Hmm.
same level to be able to help, pull them along, help them engage, help them, rise up to that next level. But it wasn't about, they're at 4 and you need to be at 10. And I think sometimes that gap as well, like is we forget that we can be really instrumental in helping somebody rise up another level, gain more experience, gain more confidence, whatever that might be, when we're just a little bit ahead of them. It doesn't have to be this huge, I'm not a mile ahead. I can't be
Yeah.
helpful. Like, no, that's actually if you're a mile ahead, you're probably too far ahead to be able to help them to remember all the things and lessons and maybe hardships, maybe not, that you learned at that level.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Love it. So tell me more about, I mean, we all have our areas where we're super passionate. I'm guessing it's not
Mhm.
2 plus 2. Pretty cool, but so where we're really passionate about really business or advancing people, how we work with people. So tell me what your passion is when you're working with CEOs, business owners, leadership. Where do you feel like you come in and make the biggest difference? Sorry, those are two different questions. Let's go with the passion side first.
Yeah, so my passion really came out of my corporate roles. The last decade of my career, I was working with small companies, and especially in the mid 2000s, there was a lot of private equity activity going on, a lot of sales. And the last four companies I worked for, I came in, I helped them professionalize their teams, and then they sold. And I learned a lot of things through that process. But one of the biggest things that I learned was there are a lot of owners who they're not really interested in selling. They enjoy their business, they like their business. But when that offer comes along that is going to allow you to retire or pay for your kids' education, is really hard to turn that down.
Right.
So my passion now is working with business owners who aren't intending to sell to make sure that their business is ready to sell. There's a lot of things that you can do, especially if you can prepare 2 and 3 years before you're thinking about selling, that are going to improve your multiple. And it's not
Mhm.
they're things that you should do for your company as well. They're going to help your company grow, but they also have the added benefit of if an offer comes along that's too good to refuse, you're ready to go. I'm not going to say there's no
Yeah.
stress because there is always stress in a sale, but you
Yep.
don't have the stress of, am I ready? Do I have my books in order? Because you have them in
Right.
order. And it's not just about buyers. It could also be about banks. If you are growing, you want to make a strategic leap, you want to invest in something, having this financial hygiene. And when you show that to the bank that, yes, I've got all my financials in order, here are the details behind each account, showing them that you understand and have your house in order makes it a much easier yes for people who you're working with.
Well, and what a great place to be. Like, if I've got all of that in place and it's understood, and literally I get to like walk down my journey, I have a clearer path because I've already put all that effort into it. It's all clean, it's ready to go. And now somebody happens to knock on my door and is like, I'd like to buy you.
Yeah.
Like,
And
now you get to focus on the right things in the moment of, well, I know structurally, yeah, I'm ready. Like the hard work is done. Emotionally, personally, am I ready? And that's really where then you get to focus that time
yeah, hopefully, because
and energy.
honestly, what
Yeah.
I've seen, that is the harder part of the journey. Like you
Oh, for
can
sure.
rely on your team to get the business ready for sale and to pull all the documents for due diligence and all of that work. But the only one who can work on the mental part of selling the company is you. And so, yes, it's really important that a CEO is freed up to work through all of that because there is a mourning process. You've
Yeah.
come into this company, you've grown it. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and suddenly you're going from this is your responsibility. All these people who work for
Hmm.
me are my responsibility to have nothing. And
Yeah.
there's a I have seen it always turns out well, but some people get through it sooner than others because they have the
Yeah.
time and put the focus on what's next.
Well, and I think anybody who's for profit, I mean, obviously we're here to make money. Like that's why any of us either we own a business or we go to work. And it's the whole purpose of doing this is because we all need to earn money so we can live the lives we want to live, right? So this is proof though that the mourning process, the pieces of needing to get through it emotionally, we're not just here for the money. Like it's a key indicator, right? So the point being is like a healthy amount in my bank account because I sold my business doesn't just mean like, oh, footloose and fancy free, butterflies and rainbows, like,
A- Absolutely. It fixes one problem, but
yeah,
it I wouldn't say it creates, but it uncovers a
yeah.
lot of other things in your life that you haven't had time to focus on.
Well, right. We we have a standing joke internally that is, if everybody has hard days, like I won't sugarcoat it. Like, things aren't always perfect where we're like, you know, owning business is it's butterflies and rainbows. Let's go back to that, right? Like, if
Yep.
that's the case, you're not doing it right.
Yes.
Like if you're never having a hard day, you're not challenging yourself or your team or
There,
anything
yeah,
hard
there's
enough.
something very wrong.
Right. So, but as we're looking at that, we joke that we're going to go walk dogs because dogs don't talk back. You put them on a leash, take them on a walk. They're the happiest beings on the planet because they're out taking a walk. Probably shouldn't have said walk so many times out loud because mine's going to hear it. But, we want to make sure, I don't know, I guess I always want to make sure that we're not just focused on uh, that I got distracted with my dog. The income that comes in, there's reasons we do this beyond the money, right? Like that's really what it boils down to. And having this all
Absolutely.
situated in a ways that just makes sense, has clarity, you can see the trends. You can see, again, and it's not just about selling either, right? Like if something isn't going well, in order to prep yourself for a great sale down the road, if there's something that can be uncovered today, great, you've
Mhm.
got this runway now to make those improvements and enjoy the fruit of that while you're still here and in business, and then, having it solved for down the road when somebody else wants to take over.
That's exactly it. It could be something simple as you have too much inventory. And you have too much inventory, but you don't worry about it. If you get that cleaned up, you don't have to worry about it again. Once you get
Right.
just do it now. Otherwise, 2 years down the road, that offer comes in and they're like, oh, no, we need to deduct 50% from your inventory because you've got a lot of old inventory. So you've been
Yeah.
taking up space, you've been tying up cash for the last 2 years. If you'd solved it 2 years ago, you wouldn't even have to think about
Right. Physical space, cash, and mental space.
it. Exactly.
All of it. So I know that you've referenced, I liked your term, and I think this was in writing, where you had mentioned it kind of as that financial hygiene. Like,
Yes.
what a brilliant tag or line to be able to like kind of coincide that those two concepts is financial hygiene. It's exactly what it is, like making sure that it's clean and ready to go and just
Yeah.
straight and orderly. I love it. What is a shift that you believe CEOs, whether they're growing their business, they're looking at um, that ending side or that selling side, right? Like, what's one of those shifts that you believe a CEO could do to either, grow their business or be more effective in getting to that finish line, whether it be sale or retirement or whatever it looks like?
I would say the biggest thing, and this kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier, is having the right team in place. For two reasons. One is having the right team in place means that you are growing your business or you're getting your business objectives while you own the business.
Mhm.
The other part of that is if whoever is coming in to buy you looks at your company and too much of the company's value is tied up in you, the owner, meaning you have the sales relationships, you have the bank relationships. If you have all the relationships in your business, that business is worth a lot less without you. Where
Right.
if you've done a good job of building your team and delegating to your team, the buyer will come in and recognize that, oh, okay, if I can just bring this team, they can keep the business functioning as it is today. We're not going to have any of those setbacks that you
Right.
get when you start to integrate businesses together.
Right. That's awesome. It's good advice. Eh, and that is something that we see often, with our solopreneurs and, even here at Spader Group, right? Like I do hold those sales relationships and
Yeah.
I currently I do. And it is something that, over the years, it's been a focus of, that's when we started building out our management team and making sure that I'm not the only one here who's calling the shots. I'm nowhere near selling. I'm nowhere near leaving. Like I got little kids and I got things to do and
That's exactly it.
like
You want to take a vacation.
yeah,
You
yep.
you as a solopreneur who has too much depending on them, it's hard to take a vacation where you get
Yeah.
that team in place and you might be able to take your family to Disney World for a week.
Yeah. Yep. And that's just it. Our team is amazing. It's we've all had, we lead with family first around here. So, as we've done that, of course, I've had to take advantage of the family first approach as well. And I just love that they're able to pick up and run as if I don't exist. And it's so
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
cool. Like it makes me always very proud of them when they get to like shine up in that or show up in that light and shine.
Exactly.
So,
You're providing them with a growth opportunity and you're getting peace of mind that, things are taken care of.
yep, yep. Well, Debbie, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you jumping on with us. If folks wanted to learn more about you, connect with you, learn about your services, how would they do that?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Debbie Stewart. Or I have a website for my company. It's financefuelinggrowth.com. And all my contact information is on there.
Awesome. And we will for sure have it in the notes here as well as we share this out. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I am super grateful for you saying yes, and this has been really insightful. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawndel. This has been wonderful.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to the CEO Shift. Ready to take your next step as a strategic CEO? Download our free 4-step CEO decision guide, the exact framework business leaders use to stop spinning their wheels and start scaling with clarity. Grab your copy at spadergroup.com/CEO-guide and start making decisions like a CEO today.